Ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you today, you don't have to force what God has already planned for you. Sometimes we get caught up trying to make things happen in our own strength. We work harder, stress more, push beyond our limits, thinking that if we don't control everything, it won't come to pass. But let me encourage you. What's meant for you is already on the way. The doors you've been praying for, they're already unlocked. The right people, the right opportunities, the breakthroughs, they're lined up, waiting for the perfect time to appear in your life. But here's the key. You have to stop striving and start trusting. Relax. Everything will come to you at the right time. The delay isn't a denial, it's divine preparation. What seems like a setback is really a setup for something greater. The more you rest in faith, the more you align yourself with the blessings coming your way. The scripture says, "Be still and know that I am God." That means when you step back, when you surrender the worry, when you stop trying to figure it all out, you give room for the supernatural to work. Some of you have been carrying stress, anxiety, even frustration, thinking that if you don't push harder, you'll miss your chance. But let me tell you today, you're not missing anything. What God has for you, no one can take away. Your name is already on the blessing. So relax, stay faithful, stay expectant. Live in peace, knowing that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. When you walk in trust, you'll walk into favor. When you let go, you'll see doors open. Everything will come to you, not by force, but by faith. So many times we live life thinking that if we don't push harder, strive more, or stay ahead of everyone else, we'll somehow miss out on what's meant for us. But the truth is, you don't have to force what is already part of your destiny. What's meant for you is not something you have to chase down, manipulate, or beg for. It's something that is divinely assigned to your life. When you understand this, you can live with peace, knowing that what has been written for you cannot be erased, delayed, or denied. Think about nature. The sun doesn't struggle to rise in the morning. Rivers don't force themselves to flow to the ocean. Everything in creation moves in divine order, without stress, without pressure. You were created to flow in the same way. When you relax, trust, and align yourself with the right mindset, you'll start seeing doors open naturally. The right opportunities will present themselves. The right people will show up at the right time. You won't have to manipulate situations or try to control everything. Things will come together just as they are meant to. Many people live in frustration because they feel like they're running out of time. They say, I should be further along by now. I should have that promotion. I should be married by now. I should have my breakthrough. But that's a mindset of pressure, not peace. The reality is, you are exactly where you need to be in this moment. Nothing is missing. Nothing is delayed. The same God who designed your life has also determined the timing of your blessings. Your job is not to force things into place, but to trust that they are unfolding exactly as they should. Look at a farmer planting seeds. He doesn't dig up the soil every day, wondering if the seed is working. He doesn't yell at the ground, demanding it to grow faster. No, he waters it, nurtures it, and waits because he knows that growth happens in due season. Your dreams, your goals, your prayers, they are all seeds that have been planted. Your job is not to rush the process, but to stay faithful and trust that the harvest will come in its time. One of the biggest mistakes we make is comparing our journey to someone else's. We see others getting ahead and we start to wonder, why not me? Why is it taking so long for my blessing? But you have to understand, your timing is different. Just because someone else is receiving their breakthrough now doesn't mean yours isn't coming. What is meant for you is not a limited resource. There is no competition in destiny. What's yours will always be yours, and nothing can take it away. When you force things, you create unnecessary stress. You end up making decisions out of fear, desperation, or impatience. How many times have we rushed into relationships, careers, or situations that weren't right for us, only to look back and realize that if we had waited, something better was coming? You don't have to force what is meant for you, because what is meant for you will find you, even if you're not looking for it. Maybe right now you feel stuck. You've been working hard, praying, believing, but nothing seems to be moving. That doesn't mean things aren't happening behind the scenes. Just because you don't see movement doesn't mean progress isn't being made. Think about an iceberg. 90% of it is underwater, unseen. But just because it's not visible doesn't mean it's not there. In the same way, your blessings are forming beneath the surface, getting ready to emerge at the right time. Trusting that you don't have to force things doesn't mean you do nothing. It doesn't mean you sit back and wait for life to happen to you. No, you still have to do your part. You prepare, you grow, you develop yourself, you stay ready. But you don't have to push doors open that weren't meant for you. You don't have to manipulate situations to fit your agenda. When it's your time, the door will open so effortlessly that you'll know it was meant for you. Sometimes what looks like a delay is actually a blessing in disguise. If you had received that job, that relationship, that opportunity too soon, you wouldn't have been ready for it. God knows the right timing for everything in your life. When you relax and trust in that timing, you will find joy in the waiting instead of frustration. You will see that every closed door was really just a redirection towards something better. So stop striving, stop forcing, stop overthinking. Rest in the assurance that what is meant for you is already set aside for you. You are not missing out. You are not falling behind. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should. When the time is right, everything will fall into place effortlessly. Too often we go through life worrying about how things will work out, how we'll meet the right people, how we'll get the opportunity we've been praying for, how the doors will open for us. But let me remind you today, what you need is already set in motion. The right people, the right opportunities, and the breakthroughs you've been waiting for are already lined up. They're not something you have to chase down. They are on their way to you. Think about a package that has already been shipped. The moment you place an order, it's processed, packed, and sent out for delivery. You don't sit by the door stressing about how it will get there. You just trust that it's coming. You just trust that it's coming. You just trust. The same is true for the blessings in your life. The things you've been praying for, believing for, preparing for, they are already en route. You don't have to force them, worry about them, or try to control the timing. Your only job is to stay in position to receive them. Many times we look around and think, I don't see any opportunities. I don't know the right people. Nothing seems to be working out for me. But just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. Behind the scenes, divine connections are being arranged. The right person is being prepared to walk into your life. The door that has been closed for years is about to open in an instant. You don't have to figure out how. It's already taken care of. Think about how relationships are formed. Some of the best friendships, partnerships, and even marriages happen unexpectedly. You weren't out searching, but somehow you ended up at the right place at the right time. That wasn't random, it was orchestrated. In the same way, the people who will help you fulfill your purpose are already on their way. The mentor who will guide you, the business partner who will elevate you, the friend who will support you through the next season of your life, they are already being positioned to cross your path. Sometimes we try to force relationships and opportunities that aren't meant for us. We chase after the wrong people, beg for doors to open, or try to manipulate situations to work in our favor. But when something is truly meant for you, you won't have to force it. The right people will come into your life naturally. The right opportunities will present themselves at the right time. Instead of chasing what's not for you, trust that what is for you is already making its way toward you. You may feel like you've been waiting a long time. Maybe you've been believing for a breakthrough, a promotion, a new beginning, but nothing has changed. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not on the way. Sometimes things take longer because what's coming is bigger than what you imagine. The opportunity you've been praying for might not be ready yet, or maybe you're not ready for it. Trust the process. When the time is right, what is meant for you will arrive without delay. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. There are people who are assigned to help you step into your destiny. You don't have to struggle on your own. When it's time, the right connections will show up, the right doors will open, and the right opportunities will find you. Until then, focus on becoming the best version of yourself so that when the breakthrough arrives, you are fully prepared to step into it. Maybe you feel overlooked or forgotten. Maybe you see others advancing while you remain in the same place. But know this, your time is coming. Your name is already on the right opportunity, the right relationship, the right blessing. Just because you haven't seen movement yet doesn't mean things aren't shifting in your favor. What is meant for you will never miss you. So stop worrying about how it's going to happen. Stop stressing over when it will show up. Instead, live each day in faith, knowing that everything you need is already being arranged. The right people, the right opportunities, and the breakthroughs you've been waiting for are not just coming, they're closer than you think. So many of us live life in a constant state of striving. We push, we stress, we try to force things to happen. We believe that if we don't make it happen ourselves, it won't happen at all. But the truth is, what is meant for you will come to you, not through stress and struggle, but through trust and alignment. Think about a river. It doesn't fight to flow. It moves naturally, effortlessly, following the path set before it. You were created to flow in the same way. When you are constantly striving, trying to control every detail, you create resistance. But when you trust, surrender, and relax, you allow life to unfold in ways greater than you could have imagined. Many people live in a mindset of pressure. They say things like, I have to get this job, I have to find the right relationship, I have to make this happen now. But pressure leads to exhaustion. Striving will wear you out, but trusting will fill you with peace. The moment you release the need to control everything is the moment you open yourself up to unexpected blessings. Trusting doesn't mean you do nothing. It means you take inspired action while letting go of the outcome. It means you do your best and allow things to come together in the right timing. You don't have to chase opportunities or force doors to open. When you are aligned with your purpose, the right doors will open on their own. Maybe you've been trying so hard to make something happen, but no matter what you do, it's just not working. That's a sign that you need to step back and trust. If a door isn't opening, it might be the wrong door. If a person isn't treating you right, they may not be meant for your journey. Instead of striving to make things fit, trust that what's truly meant for you will come effortlessly. Think about the times in your life when things just worked out. When the right person showed up at the right time, when an opportunity came out of nowhere, when things fell into place without you having to struggle. That's what happens when you trust. That's what happens when you stop forcing and start flowing. Your blessings are not attached to stress, they are attached to surrender. When you stop striving, you'll realize how much peace you've been missing. You'll stop feeling anxious about the future. You'll stop worrying about things that are already being taken care of. And as you relax, you'll notice that everything starts working out better than you expected, because when you trust, you align yourself with favor. You were never meant to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You were meant to walk in faith, to trust that what is yours will always find you. When you start trusting, you will begin to experience more joy, more ease, more grace. You'll stop trying to force life to happen and start allowing life to bless you. So stop striving, stop worrying, stop overthinking, relax, breathe, and know that everything is already unfolding perfectly. What is meant for you is on its way. You don't have to chase it, just trust, and it will find you. So often when things don't happen on our timetable, we start to get discouraged. We think, why is it taking so long? Did I miss my opportunity? Did I do something wrong? But I want to remind you today, a delay is not a denial. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It simply means that the timing isn't right, not for your punishment, but for your preparation. Think about a master chef preparing a meal. Every ingredient has to be added at the right time. If you rush the process, you'll ruin the dish. The same is true in your life. If God gave you everything you wanted the moment you asked, you might not be ready to handle it. The delay isn't rejection, it's refinement. It's making sure you have everything you need to step into your blessing fully prepared. Look at Joseph in the Bible. He had a dream that he would one day be in a position of power, but before that dream came to pass, he went through years of hardship. Betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. For years, it looked like nothing was happening, but behind the scenes, everything was falling into place. The delay wasn't a denial, it was divine preparation. When the time was right, he was promoted in an instant. Maybe you've been waiting on a breakthrough, a relationship, a new opportunity, and you don't see anything changing. That doesn't mean God has forgotten you. Sometimes the blessing is ready, but you're not. There are lessons you need to learn, character you need to develop, strength you need to build. What feels like a delay is actually God's way of preparing you so that when the door opens, you can walk through it with confidence. If you rush the process, you might get to where you want to be, but you won't be able to sustain it. A delay ensures that when you arrive, you're fully equipped to handle the blessing. Just like an athlete doesn't step into a championship game without months of training, you are in a season of preparation for something greater than you can imagine. When you understand that delays are divine, you stop being frustrated and you stop seeing the waiting season as wasted time and start seeing it as growth time. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start saying, I trust that this is happening for me. Sometimes the delay is actually protecting you. Maybe you were about to step into a situation that wasn't right for you. Maybe you were going to accept a job that seemed great on the surface, but would have drained your joy. Sometimes God holds things back, not to withhold them from you, but to give you something better. You may not understand why things are taking so long, but trust this. When it's time, nothing can stop what's meant for you. No opposition, no mistake, no setback can keep your destiny from unfolding. When God says it's your time, doors will open that no one can shut. So don't get discouraged in the waiting. The delay is not a denial. It's divine preparation. When the time is right, you'll step into your blessing and you'll look back and say, now I see why I had to wait. Everything will make sense and you'll realize that the waiting wasn't a waste. It was a setup for something greater. So many of us live in a constant state of worry. We wake up thinking about all the things that need to get done, all the deadlines, all the unanswered prayers, all the uncertainties of the future. On the uncertainties of the future. We believe that if we stress over it long enough, if we think about it hard enough, somehow we can make things happen faster. But stress doesn't speed up the process. It slows you down. Imagine trying to run a race while carrying a heavy backpack. You might still be moving forward, but the weight is slowing you down. That's what worry does. It drains your energy, steals your peace, and makes the journey harder than it needs to be. You were never meant to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You were meant to trust, to walk in faith, and to allow things to unfold in their perfect timing. Many people think that worrying is a sign of being responsible. They say, if I don't worry about it, who will? If I don't stress, nothing will get done. But the truth is, worry doesn't add anything to your life. It only takes away. It takes away your joy, your peace, your ability to enjoy the present moment. Jesus said, who of you by worrying can add a single hour to your life? Matthew 6:27. Worry doesn't change the outcome. It only changes your ability to experience life fully. When you stress over things you can't control, you waste precious time and energy that could be spent preparing, growing, and trusting. Think about a farmer who plants seeds. After he sows them, he doesn't go outside every 5 minutes to see if they're growing. He doesn't stay up all night worrying about whether the rain will come. He trusts the process. He knows that as long as he's done his part, the growth will happen in due time. You have to have that same kind of trust in your own life. Maybe you're waiting for a breakthrough. Maybe you're wondering when your situation will change, when the right opportunity will come, when the burden will be lifted. Stressing over it won't make it happen any faster. In fact, it will only delay your progress because you'll be too drained to recognize the blessing when it comes. Worry takes your focus away from the present. When you're always anxious about what's ahead, you miss the beauty of where you are right now. You miss the small victories, the moments of joy, the lessons that are shaping you for what's next. You can't live fully today if you're always worried about tomorrow. Instead of stressing, start trusting. Instead of constantly overthinking, start believing that everything is working out in your favor. Your situation may not change overnight, but when you shift your mindset, your experience of life will change instantly. You'll go from feeling anxious to feeling peaceful, from feeling overwhelmed to feeling empowered. So let go of the stress, release the worry. Trust that what's meant for you is already set in motion, and no amount of anxiety will make it happen any faster. The more you relax and trust, the lighter your spirit will be, and the faster you'll move toward your destiny. Life has a way of making us feel like we have to constantly be moving, working, and striving to make things happen. We think that if we're not busy, If we're not constantly pushing forward, then we're falling behind. But the truth is, some of the greatest breakthroughs come not when we're striving, but when we're still. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." That's not just a suggestion. It's a reminder that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply trust. When you're still, when you're at peace, you create space for divine timing to unfold. You stop trying to force things and start allowing them to happen in the way they were always meant to. So many people struggle with the waiting season. They ask, when is my breakthrough coming? When will things change? Why is it taking so long? But waiting is not a punishment, it's preparation. God is never late and He is never in a hurry. Everything in your life is unfolding exactly as it should, at exactly the right time. Look at nature. The sun rises and sets on time every day. The seasons change without fail. A seed doesn't become a tree overnight, but it grows at exactly the right pace. If God can orchestrate the universe with such precision, don't you think He knows the perfect timing for your life? One of the greatest challenges we face is learning to trust when we don't see progress. It's easy to have faith when things are happening quickly, when doors are opening, when prayers are being answered. But true faith is trusting even when nothing seems to be moving. When it feels like nothing is changing, that's often when God is doing the most behind the scenes. Think about Joseph in the Bible. He had dreams of greatness. But before those dreams came to pass, he went through years of waiting, hardship, and uncertainty. It looked like nothing was happening. But in reality, everything was happening. God was positioning him, refining him, preparing him for the moment when the doors would finally open. If Joseph had tried to rush the process, he wouldn't have been ready for the responsibility that was coming. In the same way, your waiting season is not wasted time. It's a time of preparation, of refinement, of strengthening. When God says, be still, He's not saying do nothing. He's saying, trust me. He's saying, stop trying to figure everything out on your own. Stop stressing over things that are already taken care of. Just be still and let me work. When you learn to be still, you stop living in anxiety. You stop feeling like you have to make everything happen on your own. You start to walk in peace, knowing that what's meant for you will never pass you by. You begin to trust that even in the waiting, even in the delays, even when things don't make sense, everything is right on schedule. So if you're in a season of waiting, if things aren't happening as fast as you'd like, don't get discouraged. Take a deep breath and remember, divine timing is always perfect. You don't have to stress. You don't have to force it. Just be still, trust, and watch how everything falls into place at exactly the right time. Too often we worry about missing out on opportunities. We see others getting ahead, doors opening for them, and we start to think, what if I get overlooked? What if I miss my chance? What if someone else takes what was meant for me? But let me remind you today, what is meant for you has already been assigned to you, and no one can take it. Your name is on the blessing. In life, we sometimes feel like we have to compete, that we have to fight for our place, that if we don't push hard enough, someone else will take what belongs to us. But God doesn't operate that way. He is not limited in resources. He is not running out of favor, out of opportunities, out of blessings. If something is meant for you, no force in the universe can keep it from you. Think about a package that's been mailed with your name on it. No one else can claim it because it belongs to you. Your blessings are the same way. They have already been stamped with your name, scheduled to arrive at the right time. It doesn't matter who else is doing what. Who else is being promoted? Who else is stepping into new seasons? What's yours is still yours. This is why you don't have to live in jealousy or comparison. Someone else's success does not mean your failure. Their promotion doesn't mean your demotion. Their blessing doesn't take away from yours. God is big enough to bless everyone. He has doors for you that no one else can walk through. Look at David in the Bible. He was anointed as king long before he actually took the throne. For years, it looked like he had been forgotten, overlooked, like others were stepping into positions of power while he was left in the fields. But what God had promised him was still his. No one else could take it. When the time was right, he stepped into the position that had been waiting for him all along. Maybe right now, you feel like you've been waiting a long time. Maybe you've seen other people get the promotion, the opportunity, the breakthrough that you've been praying for. Don't be discouraged. If it was meant for them, it wasn't meant for you. If it was meant for you, it's still on the way. Sometimes we think that if we make a mistake, if we take a wrong turn, we've lost our destiny. But nothing you do can cancel the plan that has been designed specifically for you. You may have taken detours, faced delays, but your blessing is still on its way. You cannot lose what is divinely yours. This is why you don't have to live in fear. You don't have to be anxious about the future. You don't have to chase after things that aren't meant for you. The right doors will open at the right time. The right people will show up at the right moment. The right opportunities will come without force or struggle. So relax. Stop worrying about who is ahead, who is getting what, who seems to be more blessed. Your story is unique. Your journey is unfolding exactly as it should. No one can take what has been assigned to you. Your name is already on the blessing, and when the time is right, it will find you. Every day we have a choice to make. Will we live in faith or will we live in stress? Faith says, I trust that everything is working out for my good. Stress says, I have to figure everything out on my own. Faith brings peace while stress brings struggle. So many people go through life carrying burdens they were never meant to carry. They stress over their future, worry about finances, obsess over relationships, and try to control everything. But here's the truth. Stress doesn't solve problems. It only drains your energy. It takes away your joy, your peace, your ability to enjoy the present moment. Faith, on the other hand, releases that burden. Faith says, I don't have to know how everything will work out. I just know that it will. When you live in faith, you step into a place of rest. You stop overanalyzing, stop striving, stop forcing things to happen, and start trusting that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Look at Jesus when he was on a boat with his disciples. A great storm came, the wind was howling, the waves were crashing, and the disciples were terrified. But where was Jesus? Asleep. While they were panicking, he was at peace. Why? Because he knew who was in control. He knew that no storm was bigger than his God. How often do we do the same thing? We let the storms of life fill us with fear. We let circumstances steal our peace. We forget that God is in control, that he has already gone before us, that he has already made a way where there seems to be no way. Faith says, I trust the one who controls the storm. Stress says, I have to fight the storm on my own. Think about two people walking through the same difficult situation. One is stressed, overwhelmed, and fearful. The other is calm, steady, and full of peace. The difference isn't the circumstance, it's the mindset. One is carrying the burden alone, while the other is walking in faith, knowing that everything is being taken care of. You may be facing challenges right now. Maybe you're dealing with uncertainty, waiting on a breakthrough, praying for an answer. You have two choices. You can stress or you can trust. You can worry or you can walk in faith. But you can't do both. Stress makes the journey harder than it needs to be. It wears you down, clouds your thinking, and keeps you from seeing the blessings that are already in front of you. Faith, on the other hand, lightens the load. It allows you to go through life with joy, knowing that what's meant for you will come to you at the right time. The next time you feel stress creeping in, take a deep breath and make a choice. I will not live in struggle. I will live in faith. I will not let worry steal my joy. I will trust that my path is unfolding exactly as it should, because when you choose faith, you choose peace. And when you choose peace, you open the door for blessings to flow into your life effortlessly. So many of us go through life holding on too tightly, trying to control outcomes, forcing things to happen, and stressing over details that are beyond our power. We think that if we just push a little harder, if we plan a little more, if we worry enough, we can make things happen our way. But the truth is, the more you try to control everything, the more exhausted and frustrated you become. Life wasn't meant to be lived in constant struggle. You weren't created to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. There are some things that only God can do. There are some doors that only he can open, some breakthroughs that only he can bring. When you finally let go and surrender, that's when you make room for miracles. Look at Moses when he led the Israelites to the Red Sea. They were trapped, an army behind them, a sea in front of them. There was no way out. If Moses had tried to figure it all out in his own strength, he would have been overwhelmed. But instead, he listened, he trusted, and he let go of control, and that's when the miracle happened. the waters parted, and a way was made where there was no way. Maybe you feel like you're standing at your own Red Sea right now. You don't see a way forward. You don't know how things will work out. But what if instead of stressing, you surrendered? What if instead of trying to control everything, you trusted that a way is already being made for you? Think about a clenched fist. It can't receive anything. When you hold on too tightly, you block the blessings that are trying to flow into your life. But when you open your hands, when you let go, you make space for miracles to show up in ways you never expected. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means releasing the need to figure everything out on your own. It means saying, God, I trust that you know what's best. I trust that your timing is perfect. I trust that what's meant for me will find me. Some of the greatest blessings come when we least expect them. Not because we worked harder, not because we worried more, but because we let go and allowed things to happen in their perfect time. The right people, the right opportunities, the right breakthroughs, they will come when you stop chasing, stop forcing, and start trusting. Maybe you've been trying to control a relationship, a job situation, a dream that hasn't come to pass yet. What would happen if you loosened your grip? What if instead of striving, you surrendered? Instead of stress, you chose stillness. You might just find that the moment you let go, the miracle begins. So take a deep breath today. Release the need to control. Trust that what's meant for you will come in the perfect way at the perfect time. And as you do, watch how miracles unfold in ways you never imagined. In life, it's easy to believe that the only way to get what we want is to fight for it, to push, to force things to happen. We think that if we just work harder, stress more, and try to control every outcome, then everything will fall into place. But the truth is, what is meant for you will not come through struggle, it will come through faith. Faith is trusting that what has been promised to you is already on its way. It's knowing that you don't have to manipulate, chase, or exhaust yourself trying to make things happen. Faith understands that God's timing is always perfect and that what is meant for you will arrive at just the right moment. Look at a river. It doesn't fight to flow. It simply moves in alignment with its course. It doesn't struggle to reach the ocean. It just follows the path set before it. In the same way, you don't have to force your destiny. You just have to flow with faith, trusting that what's yours will always find its way to you. Many people spend their lives forcing relationships that aren't meant to be, pushing for opportunities that aren't the right fit, or trying to rush a season that isn't ready. But anything you have to force is not a blessing, it's a burden. What's meant for you will come with peace, not pressure. It will unfold naturally, not by manipulation or fear. Think about Abraham. God promised him that he would be the father of many nations. But when the promise seemed delayed, he and Sarah tried to force it by having a child through Hagar. That one decision created unnecessary struggle, pain, and complications. If they had simply waited in faith, the blessing would have come in God's perfect timing without the extra weight of human interference. Maybe you've been pushing, striving, exhausting yourself, trying to figure out when things will change, when the right opportunity will come, when the waiting will be over. But what if instead of forcing, you started trusting? What if you shifted from anxiety to expectation? What if you believed deep down that you don't have to chase what's already on its way to you? Faith is resting in the fact that you are already in divine alignment. You don't have to compete, compare, or stress over things that are outside of your control. The right people, the right doors, the right opportunities will come, not because you fought for them, but because you trusted. You might not see it yet, but everything is being arranged behind the scenes. The timing is being set. The details are being worked out. And when the moment is right, everything will align effortlessly, not by force, but by faith. So take a deep breath today. Stop striving. Stop stressing. Stop trying to make things happen before their time. Relax, trust, and walk in peace. Because what's meant for you is already on its way, not by your strength, but by divine design. Not by force, but by faith. My friend, life is not meant to be lived in constant struggle. You don't have to force what is already yours. You don't have to chase what has been divinely assigned to you. Your name is on the blessing. Your breakthrough is already scheduled, and your destiny is unfolding in perfect timing. So take the pressure off yourself. Stop striving, start trusting. Stop stressing, start resting. When you let go of control, you make room for miracles. When you shift from force to faith, you open the door for blessings to flow freely into your life. Maybe you've been waiting for a dream to come to pass, a prayer to be answered, a door to open. Let this be your confirmation. Everything you need is on its way. Not by struggle, not by force, but by faith. You don't have to make it happen, it's already happening. So relax, breathe, be still, walk in peace, knowing that what's meant for you will come at exactly the right time. And when it does, it will be bigger, better, and more beautiful than anything you could have imagined.